Where's the dog? John Wick style. I
Oh,
get that reference now.
I'm so proud. Hello and welcome to Cassette Take, where you can eject wherever you want, but please don't forget to rewind. I'm Ethan.
I'm Annmarie.
And golly, Annmarie, what did we just come out of seeing?
We just got out of seeing Superman.
James Gunn's Superman, formerly known as Superman Legacy, currently known as the Kickstarter of the DCU, right? Not the DCEU, that was what came before.
That was Zack Snyder.
Yes, so this is the DCU, run by James Gunn, the first movie to truly kick things off here. We've had a few soft launches with Creature Commandos and
Peacemaker.
Borderline Peacemaker, and kind of arguably with, I was going to say Beetlejuice, Blue Beetle, because technically that's still involved, I guess. But this is it. This is the grand opening of the DCU. And Annmarie, I believe we have thoughts.
We definitely have thoughts about this because there has been a lot of discourse out there about Superman and this kicking off the DCU and how it's going to really transform the world of superheroes. And let's just start off with this. We both really liked it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if you were to ask me coming out of the theater, did you like Superman or did you hate it? Absolutely, I'm going to give it 100%, thumbs up. Now, would I give it the actual percent of 100%? Like, if you're asking me like a Rotten Tomatoes critic, probably not. I don't think it's a perfect movie.
No, and I think that was the one thing that we came out of it because there was a lot of people cheering this movie on, and I can totally see it because it is such a comic book movie. I came out saying comic booky, but that's really how it feels. And so I feel like that vibe will go with some people and will not vibe with other people. And for me, it worked, but I agree with you. I don't think it's a perfect movie.
No, I mean, no movie, with some exceptions, aren't really perfect movies, even some of the greats. But I mean, with here, I feel like there is such a great movie that is there that we went in to go see, but such slightly small fixes that could have made it so much better to get it to that level of, just about near perfection. Coming right out of the gate, I think it's too short.
Yeah, that was the first problem with it. I believe this is only 209. It should have been 230. That might be even pushing it, but it's way too short. The first thought I had right after the movie was, when is Superman 2 coming out? Because this movie was way too short and I need a longer one.
Yeah, we definitely need a director's cut for this one.
I would love a director's cut because there's a lot of... The biggest issue I had was that it was too crowded, but the reason why it's too crowded is because it's too short.
I mean, okay, by the way, sorry, failure of vocabulary here. Not director's cut, extended cut, because obviously the director is the head of the studio, so can't really say that here.
James Gunn yelling at himself, "Get it done, James! I am trying to get it done, James!"
Punching himself in the head. But no, like, I definitely think this movie is worth having an extended cut, maybe doing a re-release with an extended cut, kind of like what Avengers did, or Spider-Man No Way Home, where, like, after it had such a great run and was starting to slightly lose momentum at the box office, that's when they're like, oh, come again and we'll give you more footage. I think this movie would definitely be served much better with the additional footage, which most certainly I feel like there was a lot on the cutting room floor.
Yeah, which is interesting because James Gunn prides himself on being a really good director that directs pretty fast. He said that. He loves to direct fast. So I'm wondering how much is left on the cutting room floor because there's some plot points where I'm like, that was super quick and super fast. But I don't know. I don't want to say like it ruined the movie for me. Like I really did enjoy it. David Cornsweet is absolutely amazing. Rachel Brosnahan, I've never related to a character so much like Lois Lane, but this movie made me realize, oh my God, I am Lois Lane.
Yeah, and I mean, going back to Cornsweet, I'm not sure if I'm on record saying this like from one of our past episodes when this casting announcement happened, but when I first watched that show Hollywood on Netflix, where I first saw Cornsweet in years ago, I'm just like, oh my gosh, that's Clark Kent. That's
Mhm.
Superman. I really want this guy, but at the time, Henry Cavill was, everyone's Superman, and I never thought like it would actually come to be. So when I heard that Cornsweet was cast as, Superman and Clark Kent, I was just like, oh man, this is gonna be good. Like I don't care what's, who's at the helm. Cornsweet as Superman and Clark just is so perfect to me with what he's able to bring to the character, that like Boy Scouty, but at the same time like absolutely top of the line strong, and just so unapologetic in everything he goes out and does. I mean, that's the epitome of Superman, like unapologetically kind, and every life matters to him. And it's just, you really do get that whole aspect of that character that I feel like we haven't really seen too much of, that hopeful, Superman that we've seen in these recent endeavors. So it's very refreshing to get that through Cornsweet's performance. Rachel Brosnahan, as you were saying, oh my gosh, perfect, perfect. I can't emphasize it enough. Perfect casting as Lois Lane.
They really complement each other in this movie. I think that's the relationship that's so interesting because they admit like we are different. We think of people differently. And it was just so cool to have that. And like you said, this is such a different Superman from what we got beforehand. And I don't want to bring up Zack Snyder at all, but I think Henry Cavill is a great Superman, very different from David Cornsweet. And this had so much hope. John Campea came out and said, this movie moved me to be a better person. And I think that's the best way to describe it. I came out being like, I want to be better.
Yeah, and I don't think that this is a spoiler at all, but just like a little thing that like Superman goes out and saves a squirrel.
Yeah, he does.
Like, I mean, that little moment right there is exactly like the whole idea of, oh, saving a cat from a tree. It's something that, oh, the firemen could easily do that, but no, he goes out of his way, takes the time to do that because everything matters to him. And something about that's just so powerful. It's such a small act, but again, it just has that ripple effect that gets you smiling.
We got that wrong too. I remember when I reviewed that footage of David Cornsweet and the squirrel, and I was like, "Oh my god, they brought in the Green Lantern squirrel." It's not that. So
Oh my gosh, I completely forgot
don't you
about that.
remember that?
Yeah.
But honestly, this cast kills it. Let's also talk about Nicholas Hoult. Oh my God, Lex Luthor is on the level of Doctor Doom for me. They're just menacing villains. What a this is gonna sound backwards, but what a villain that I was like, he's kind of point in a way. He's kind of right in a way.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna go down that moral rabbit hole, but but like in regards to, certain bureaucratic terms, yeah, he does have an argument to be made that a lot of governments in that DCU across the world kind of agree with and align with. And he is a character that in my eyes is just so hands-on but not hands-on at the same time. Like he has that perfect balance of when he needs to get his hands dirty, he'll make it so personal, but he'll make it feel that way all the way from his ivory tower.
Mm-hmm.
And Nicholas Hoult was able to channel that so well. I really hated the character, like in all the right ways. Like everything that I was supposed to do with this character and react like hate the villain, absolutely. But it got to the point where even I'm someone that tries to look for the redeeming factors in a
Mm-hmm.
villain in movies I go see. It got to the point where I'm like, if Superman like, kind of had like a Zod, a Man of Steel moment here,
Yeah.
like, oops, let slip. I wouldn't complain. But then Superman, just does something great, and it's just kind of makes it all the more powerful and a true statement to what the character is all about. It really makes the character, the whole point of the character, much more present through its villain.
Mm-hmm. And I don't want to be like, oh my god, Lex Luthor's the best. No, he's the villain. That's the whole point of it, too. But he was just compelling in a way because he sees Superman as a problem for the humans and he misunderstands him. Where Superman, he says, like, I'm as human as you. He has this compelling moment at the end that's really compelling, and I just thought that was excellent. And you know, this movie is so comic book. Like the amount of references in here, we can even talk about like the Justice Gang. They call themselves the Justice Gang. Nathan Fillion, my man.
Almost had like a bunch of the old Firefly cast in this one with
Honestly,
Alan Tudyk, Nathan Fillion. They always like to work together.
I love it. If you bring on the Firefly class, you got me. But even Mr. Terrific was awesome. Hawk Girl. Again, I think their screen time's a little lesser than I thought it was going to be, and maybe that's because of the runtime, but I really did enjoy them, and I love this conflict. James Gunn, can you see the future? Because this really relates to today's world, and
hmm
it's amazing writing. It really is.
Yeah, I mean, it is very topical, 100%. I know that there's going to be a lot of people out there that might connect the dots, just to align it with their agenda
Hmm.
for whatever side it might be, but and even acknowledges that towards the end, and all for the better. But yeah, it's definitely one that maybe not everyone in the theater by the time you get out is going to be like, oh, I 100% agree with everything that this main character stands for. I mean, it should be, in my opinion, but again, that's my opinion. So all film subjective, all messaging in film is subjective,
What?
and
No.
what? No, but something though that going along with the story of Superman here, that I just could not uh disregard other than crypto. We'll talk about crypto.
Oh.
Is the idea that, with every character we see in a movie, they always go through their struggle and it's like everything could get worse. Murphy's Law, right? If it can go wrong, it will go wrong. And usually by that third act moment, right as the third act's getting started, the worst thing that could possibly happen to that character happens to that character. And, they have to find a way to solve it and overcome it. Now, here, I felt like that the worst thing could have happened to this character so many times, and they found a way to level up the worst thing that could have happened.
Hmm.
Because I'm usually able to pin down that moment of this is the worst thing that could have happened. And now the third act begins. I had a tough time pinning down when the third act was beginning every single time because something worse always happened to our main lead throughout this movie, and that's something that we have seen in previous entries into the Superman series. But here, I think it was just like really leaning into that, and I love that.
I'm trying to even think when the third act starts. I really can't define it, honestly.
Yeah, well, I mean, in retrospect now, I could tell you, but again, this movie has just come out. We don't want to give too many
Yeah.
spoilers here away. We'll probably talk about it, in another time. But yeah, right now we gotta talk about crypto.
Oh my gosh, Crypto!
Crypto, what an adorable fluff ball of joy and pure, unapologetic goodness.
Where's the dog? John Wick style. I
Oh,
get that reference now.
I'm so proud. But yeah, no, crypto, like, it's so funny. If you're a dog owner, I think just, you don't even have to be a Superman fan.
Mm.
If you just are a dog owner and love, or a dog person, this movie's for you. 100%. Don't even question it. I think you'll love it. There's just so many. It's probably the most accurate, ironically, the most accurate depiction of a dog I've seen in a film.
Yeah.
Because other than, the obvious, but I think like in regards to certain reactions, characters, and interactions with their owner, because a lot of dogs on set, they feel like trained to do certain things, and like, I don't know, maybe they feel like too smart. Here, it just felt like, no, Crypto's a dog that wandered on set and just is causing so much chaos in all the right ways.
I love that he's based off James Gunn's real dog too. I think that's even sweeter. It is
Yeah.
so sweet. Oh my goodness. He also was pretty good CGI. There's pretty good CGI in here. Sometimes it felt a little not real, but again, I can forgive that. The flying scenes are awesome. You really believe that you were flying.
Oh, absolutely. The way that gun is able to maneuver the camera to really make it feel like you're flying and like certain turns to make the action seem so seamless is just incredible. Now, kind of going back to the idea of being seamless with some of the CGI, for the most part, I agree with you. You know, it's just really great all the way through. There was one part that stood out to me, and it's that scene that we see in that moment, like that through that early still that we got where it's like the purple background and like there's a monster being fought in the background and Superman sitting and you just see it through happening through the window.
Mhm.
So, I mean, it's you see that and I'm not sure if it's our screening or what happened. We saw this in IMAX, by the way, but I just saw this moment where like the monster in the background kind of stuttered a few frames and I'm not sure if, again, that was, just the way we were the screen we were watching, or if that was the movie itself. But just something I noticed, like little thing like that. But I thought the CGI was pretty darn good through and through.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, there's something I really want to mention, but I'm gonna hold off till a little spoilers. But this movie is such a I think this is a solid start for the DCU, and I'm super excited for it. And there's some hints to the future of it, and so I'm super pumped for it. And you know what? I do trust James Gunn. I think he's really good at casting, and he has a great casting director. And I think he's really good at creating a world because this felt like a new world. Like, we weren't in New York, we were in Metropolis.
Right. I mean, the world building is incredible.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Now, you are definitely more in the know with, DC world and the comics. Did you think the world building truly met, what DC Comics typically stands for?
Oh, yeah.
That?
Absolutely. There's stuff in here that, again, it's really comic booky, and I'm shocked that they went certain paths with it. There I don't wanna spoil too much, but there's, like, this thing that Lex kind of discovers, and I was shocked that they went that way. There, Mr. Terrific is huge comic book pull too, which I honestly I thought he was really good, but it was interesting that they included that because it did feel like pandering isn't the right word, but like looking out for the true fans. I think it was their intention. So
Yeah, as Stan Lee would say, even though it's a different franchise, true believers.
true believers, right?
But yeah, this movie just had so much going for it. I'm still processing it, in all honesty. I'm definitely going to be going to see it again.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with our initial reactions, we're going to give our review out of 10 here, and we will be doing a spoiler review. I think we're going to do it like Deadpool, where we are going to be doing a separate video, so be on the lookout for that. We just want to give y'all some time to take it in for yourselves, feel it out, and we want to make sure when we go back and talk about it, we have everything for the most part processed because this movie, no joke, flies. It really flies.
Yes. Oh yeah. It's super fast movie, but so good at the same time. So
Yes. So, Annmarie,
okay.
the question
Yeah.
of the hour.
Yes.
Golly.
Golly.
Out of 10. Gosh, this is tough. Okay, out of 10. Gosh darn it. It's like do this, because this movie is so filled with so many different
Yes.
objects you could do. Okay, let's just make it simple. Out of 10, car waxed Lex Luthor bald caps.
Okay. Weird.
Out of 10, dude, his head is shiny.
His head is really shiny.
Very shiny. Like, again, you got like more. I'm surprised he doesn't use car wax on his head. But out of 10 of those, how many would you give Superman out of 10?
This movie is so much fun. I think it's such a great kickoff to the DC universe, and in James Gunn we trust. This movie will not be for everyone, and I want to make that clear because I think there is a lot of hype and not hype on both sides. So I want people to go in just with a fresh mind and understand it. Something that did bother me that we haven't brought up is there's a lot of jokes in here. This is a very James Gunny movie. Not a bad thing, but some of the jokes did not work for me. Some of the jokes I did not find funny, and it kind of took me out in a sense where it just felt very James Gunn. And if you love that, good for you. So happy for you. I love that. I liked when it leaned more into the comic book and when it became more real at certain sense. Did it ruin the movie for me? Absolutely not. I give it this a solid 9 out of 10. I really did enjoy this film, and I can't wait to see what's next.
I agree with you. I'm not the one that will say that a lot of those jokes in land. I think that they worked. The way I view comedy in movies sometimes is just there's jokes that aren't supposed to land right on the money to build up to better jokes.
Mhm.
But I don't know, a lot of the jokes worked for me because it just felt like something out of a comic book. Where when I'm reading a comic book, I'm not expecting Deadpool in every panel. But, when the jokes do hit, they hit. And then, when I'm reading a comic book, I snicker and I'm like, that's funny. And those moments stand out. Here, I got that same vibe, and it made me smile all the way through. Even the lesser of the jokes. So, but yeah, overall, I gotta give it a, for now. Again, we might change with the spoiler review,
Yes.
but for now, I'd give it a 9. I really did enjoy this. And I just wish it was longer. I just wish it was longer. There's characters that have a lot to do, like significant things to do that could have been built up more, and given more screen time to really make those payoffs much more satisfactory. Again, can't go into what, but I just feel like especially with the press team, I think that with them it could have been useful. Maybe the Justice Gang, but I don't know. I think that they were pretty fleshed out for the most part. Maybe a little time for them, but for the most part, the press gang. But overall, I came out of this movie with a smile on my face. This was a Superman movie I've been waiting for a long time to see. One of hope, one of kindness, one with an unapologetic message of sheer goodness towards your fellow person. So, I'm here for it, and I gotta give it a 9 out of 10. Again, score may change, but for now, I'm sticking with that as my super score.
Your super score
Super score.
to infinity and beyond.
Oh man. But guys, James Gunn's Superman, the kickstart to the DCU. We just went to go see it. Have you guys seen it? There was an early screening that we didn't get to go to, so maybe you guys have seen it this weekend. I'm sure a bunch of you will by this time you hear it. But yeah, guys, what did you think of the movie? Are you excited to go see it? Do you think this is the greatest start to the DCU? Do you think that this is a lackluster start to the DCU? Whatever you're thinking, let us know your takes on our tapes in those comments down below. And with that, Annmarie, I think it's about time we wrap things up.
Let's wrap it.
All right, guys. So thank you for joining us on this episode of Cassette Tape. We hope you haven't ejected thus far into the podcast. But whether you have or haven't, please don't forget to rewind. And please don't forget that our spoiler review for Superman will be out within the coming days. So be on the lookout for that, where we talk all that spoilery, gooey goodness.
Oh, gosh.
I don't know why it's got to be gooey, but it's got to be gooey now. Anyway, guys, have a good night, and by golly, stay great.